Joanne, what a pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to talk to you.
So I actually binged through in 2 evenings Angela Black, and perhaps I'm now seeing why you should watch it once a week. But
you're feeling a bit traumatized.
Yes, but so first of all, what do you look for in a role, and what appealed to you about Angela Black?
I don't know exactly what I look for in a role. I think I just look for a great script, and I mean, I guess I look for roles that I can't say no to because then I know they're fantastic and I feel incredibly passionate about them. And this was definitely one of those. I'd worked with Jack and Harry before, our writers, on a show called Liar, and I'd had a really wonderful experience working with them. So they contacted me and said they'd written Angela Black, and would I look at the role of Angela and see if I wanted to play her. So they sent me the first 3 episodes, and I just sat and read all 3 episodes back to back. I couldn't put them down. And yeah, it was a no-brainer. I was just like, well, I can't not play this role. This is incredible. So also, you know, they write thrillers so brilliantly, and this was a very sort of subtle, to start with, Hitchcockian style thriller that really shifts and twists and turns, and I had no idea what was going to happen or where this character was going to be taken. But also, you know, really important subject matter running as our through note, which was, you know, incredibly important to me, and I thought a really important subject matter to be talking about, especially after sort of the world had been through one lockdown at this point, or we were going through lockdown by the time I read the script, and the issue of domestic abuse had become obviously so much more prevalent because not everyone was safe in their homes. So Jack and Harry wrote this script before COVID was a word on any of our lips, but by chance it was incredibly timely.
You mentioned Liar. That also dealt with a very important subject matter, if you can speak to that. And does that give you obviously you want to give the best performance you can, but do you also feel an extra responsibility when you deal with these difficult subject matters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Laura, my character in Liar, had suffered a sexual assault, and obviously Angela Black is a victim of domestic abuse. And obviously, approaching 2 thrillers based around very sensitive subject matters by the same writers, I obviously wanted to make the characters as different as possible, and I needed to know I could do that and do both characters justice in very different ways. And obviously I'd already done Liar. So when I read Angela Black, I mean, Jack and Harry sort of did this for me in a way, because the style of Angela Black as a show is very, very different. But also as a character, she's very different. She's a character that's sort of lost her voice and lost her sense of self when we meet her. Whereas Laura in Liar was a character that's used to being listened to, that's used to being respected, that's used to having a voice, and becomes sort of just sort of obsessed with justice, and understandably so, and that breeds a real anger and resentment in her. Whereas for Angela, she's a very different being. She's in a very different space to that. She's lost her sense of self. She's lost her drive in that way. She's lost her confidence, her self-esteem. Everything is on very shaky ground, and then she's almost broken down further before she can rebuild herself again. But whenever I tackle a sensitive subject matter, I feel a huge responsibility to give the most truthful performance that I can give, and I do everything within my power to make that happen. So I don't take them on lightly.
I imagine, does that involve research to prepare for these roles?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Angela, I did a lot of research, actually. I read 3 books, one called You Can't Run by a woman called Mandy Thomas, a book called Beautiful by a woman called Katie Piper, and Brutally Honest by Melanie B. All incredibly different scenarios and circumstances of their own experiences of domestic abuse, whether it be psychological or physical, in as I said, very, very differing circumstances, but all 3 giving incredibly honest and candid, visceral accounts of their experiences emotionally and physically. So all those accounts of their experiences really stuck with me, and there wasn't a day went by on set that I didn't think about all or one of those women, on an hourly basis. Also, Women's Aid is a British charity that help support victims of domestic abuse, and they were very involved with our show from the beginning. So they advised Jack and Harry during the writing process. And when I came on board, they were incredibly helpful at pointing me in the right direction of useful research material. I spoke to some of their counsellors as well. I watched a lot of documentaries. Yeah, so I really did immerse myself in as much as possible to basically be able to build a sort of psychological profile for Angela, and also to be able to build Angela's scenario and make her as nuanced and as real as possible, and make sense of what emotions she's feeling when and why.
Right. Now, obviously, you are a seasoned actor, but was it difficult to actually go through those roles? I mean, I was on pins and needles watching, and some of it was difficult, but what was it like on set? What was the atmosphere on set?
In both instances, like I say, yeah, just an incredibly supportive working environment. With Angela Black, we were filming during the second lockdown here in the UK, so it was an even more sort of intimate experience. You know, you always sort of, on the best jobs, you do end up becoming a family really for that space of time, especially when you're the lead and you're in every day, and you know, you really spend more time with the cast and crew than you do with the people you love for that short period of time. So and we definitely had that environment. It was a very supportive and safe working environment, and I felt very free to be able to go to the places emotionally I needed to. And Craig Viveris, our director, was just incredible and supported me and guided me through the scene so brilliantly. And it was fantastic because he directed all 6 episodes. I think I would have found it difficult maybe switching directors, which is what usually happens. So that really helped me as an actor a lot, because I could build that relationship with Craig. And once you've got that shorthand with each other, it just makes the working relationship just flow. And you know, after a few weeks, you just got that shorthand, and it makes everything easier and, you know, comfortable.
Right. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Anna Bates. You don't see characters like her very often on TV. What did playing her mean to you personally and professionally?
Oh, that's a lovely question. Anna. Oh, well, I mean, she'll always mean so much to me personally and professionally. I mean, I guess Anna changed my life. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know what life would have been if another actress would have played her. So, but she's a lovely character to revisit. You know, she's a good person. She's been through a lot, but she's a good person, and she's a good soul, and she is just a strong individual. And I always loved playing her. And it's nice to go back and do the movies and find her in a place of happiness as well. I feel like I want that for her and for Bates. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, in the UK, there's a lot of production going on now. It's sort of a golden moment for television. What does that mean for you? A lot of opportunities to play great roles and to embark on great projects?
Yeah, it's been really great. And obviously the second Downton movie's coming out in the spring. I also did a mini series here in the UK called Sherwood, which is a big ensemble piece that I'm really excited about. That's going to be on BBC. I've also just filmed a mini series called Last Light for Peacock TV with Matthew Fox playing the lead. I play his wife, and that's based around an eco-terrorist attack on oil that brings down the infrastructure of the world. So it's a very action-packed show. It's a 5-episode miniseries. So it's actually been a really wonderful sort of 18 months of work for me. I've been incredibly fortunate to be able to work through, you know, the pandemic, and also just do such diverse roles. So it's been a joy actually.
Right. And when you deal with difficult subject matter, do you take that home with you, or are you able to shut off as you leave set?
I mean, I think you probably do to a certain extent. I try and shut off. So my sort of routine is when I go to work in the morning, when I put on the costume, I put on the character. And sometimes if I put on the wig, I put on the character. But when I'm in my makeup, I'm like, okay, this is my kind of like, okay, right, I'm getting into this. And then at the end of the day, when I take the costume off, I sort of imagine I'm leaving her there for the day, for the evening, and then I go back. When you're playing a role like Angela and I was in pretty much every scene, I mean, it is all consuming. I was on set all day, every day. So you get home, you look at your lines, you go to sleep, and at the weekend you spend all weekend learning your lines and working on the work for the following week, and then you go over it, you run over it again that night, and you go to sleep. And so I know like taking on a role like Angela Black, that is the level of workload involved. So I'm sort of fully aware of that, and I'm like, okay, right, I'm prepared to commit to this for 4 months of my life, and then at the end of that 4 months, when I'm kind of okay, when we've finished and we've wrapped, then that's when I truly leave her behind, and as long as I know I've put my heart and soul into it, then, which I do, then I'm happy to sort of, leave her where she is. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for the gift of entertainment you give us, even in these difficult subject matters. They're very, very, very useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
Stay well. Take care.